When a young lady is to be a heroine, the perverseness of 40 surrounding families cannot prevent her. Something must and will happen to throw a hero in her way. This is a quote from Northanger Abbey from Jane Austen. It is the least hype of Austen works ever. But before we get into that, welcome to One Book, One Movie, where I will be talking about books and their movie adaptations, whether if it was alike, if it has the same aesthetic, is the same story when they made an adaptations. Can the movie capture the aesthetics and the surrounding of the books? And I mean, I'm also a passionate reader. If you love reading too, you could comment below of like your favorite book. You can recommend me your favorite book, like some books that you would like to suggest me to read. And today I wanted to talk about Northanger Abbey. Just like I said, it was like the least hype of Austen work. And when we talk about Austen, we will mostly talk about Pride and Prejudice, like Mr. Darcy, Elizabeth Bennet, and her ambitious. And she was like a fierce young lady. But for Northanger Abbey, it's kind of like very different. It was very authentic. It was very adorable. And the protagonist, like Catherine Morland, is quite different from Elizabeth Bennet. So she's not as iconic as Elizabeth, but somehow she still has her character that we could like learn from her, or maybe get something from her after we finish reading. And I mean, for the book part, I would say if you were to start reading Austen, I would suggest Northanger Abbey. Why? Because mostly like Sense and Sensibility, it was very long, but for Northanger Abbey, it was not complicated. It was easy to read. It was short compared to other novels from Austen. So that's why I would suggest anybody to start reading Austen to read Northanger Abbey. And somehow the character is very easy to understand. I mean, if you wanted to take a first step to read English lit novel, you might want it to start from something that is like not complicated, like Northanger Abbey. And somehow she used stock characters in the books. Like there is some like not a villain, but somehow she creates conflict for Catherine Morland, for the protagonist, like Isabel Thorpe in this book. She was like a very, very stock characters. I guess we could say that she was like a Regina George, but in Regency period. Yeah. So for the themes of this book, I would say that it was like a reality vs fantasy, because Catherine, she was represent pure young innocent woman who is not out in the society yet, and it shows us that during that particular time women was like born to get married and had this perspective to marriage as like as a reward. If they could like get married, it's like they win, they're successful. And okay, that was like that was that was how it works in that time. I'm not going to judge it, but as we can see, it was somehow very ironic and very ridiculous of how a young woman behaved when she first came into society. It's like when you first start to make friends with someone, you somehow saying the wrong thing, just like Catherine in this books. Somehow she was like, she did not know how to behave, or maybe she was so naive, and etc. But for her character, I think when you start reading, you will get familiar with her characters, because she was like a very, very stock characters for a female lead role. And I mean, it was like a plot that driven by characters because you would get to know her through dialogues, through what she thinks. It was all described in the book. So that's why I just like I said, that's why if you wanted to start reading Austen novel, if you wanted to get to know her style of books, you could start with Northanger Abbey. It was very straightforward. It was very authentic. It was like that for her books. In every books, it will be about love, about marriage, about society rank, about countryside girl moved to a very city surrounding, and she gets to know lots of people, and then there will be some conflicts where she understand that she had to had to improve her characters, had to understand the world better, and that is how the plots work in these books. You will be like, and why do I have to read it? I mean, if you want to, I mean, you can get to know history, some of it in the books, like how they behave, how they think, what was the like a mother, a motto for them in that particular time. I mean, I'm sorry if my English is like somehow confusing because English is not my first language. But let's continue with our movie. Yeah. Just like I say, the plot was very simple. It's like a romantic comedy movie, but in like in Regency style. If you thought about like Bridgerton, it was kind of like that, where a girls get into society and trying to find husband. But for Northanger Abbey, I think it was quite different from Bridgerton, because Bridgerton is like a girl was already in a high rank in society, but um, but in Northanger Abbey, she was not she did not came from a wealthy family. She was like not poor, but somehow she was not wealthy. So how to fix it is to marry a wealthy guy, and she ended up with a wealthy guy. Um, for the movie, I would say that it captures the spirits of the books quite much, but especially the gothic parts where Catherine had like an obsession about gothic novels. I think they did a really great job of how they portray her to be like a gothic novel fans, and she was like thinking about like being kidnapping, or like went to a castle and she thought like maybe there will be like ghosts, or maybe there will be some murder, or maybe there will be like tragedy happens here. I mean, it's like it captures the books quite well, and in a very suitable way. I mean, they did not change any things from the story, and they also expand the characters very well, because in the novels it's like it described that Catherine loves reading gothic novels, but in the movie it expand of like how she thought, how she imagined, how she creates like scene in her head, and like trying to like make it more exciting, and then somehow her overthink is like make her gets her into trouble. And I think that was very fun to watch, because it was like you're watching some kids get taught and then they grow up. And I think it was very easy to watch, very lighthearted, and somehow I think they cast an actor and an actress very well. I mean, Felicity Jones as Catherine Morland. Yes, she has this kind of like pure, young, and innocent. And it was like she was Catherine Morland, and she was pretty. And I mean, the storyline of their love, it's like very adorable. It's it's like a formula. They create movie step by step as a romantic formula, and of like what true romantic would be like, from what they talk, their eye contact, the way the dialogue was like, somehow it's like very funny. Yeah, so I think it was like the movie did quite well. um and I mean, from what I've been researched, the movie came out in 2007, and I mean they capture a lot from the book, and it was very fascinating for me. And for the male protagonist, the Mr. Henry Tierney, I mean, they cast Jeju Field, and he had this kind of like this sense of playfulness. And I mean, it's just like it was exactly like I imagine Mr. Henry Tierney to be. I mean, he would be like making eye contacts, and he would say something and then mocking people, and then somehow like making it funny. And I mean, they captured the very best of the book. And it was very nice to watch. It was worth it for like 1 hour and like 40 minutes. I mean, it was very great to watch. Yeah. Um, as a reflection, what I got from watching this film, this adaptation film, and reading this book, except that you get to read real classic novel from Austen. I mean, Catherine characters taught me something. She was kind of young, and somehow she had this picture in her head that sometimes in reality it's not worked that way. It's like when she made friends with new people, and that friends is not being honest with her. They came in her life because they have some bad intentions. And it's just like nowadays, sometimes people did not came into your life because they love you. Somehow they were like, they wanted to make profit out of you. And that's what I learned from Catherine. It's like you have to keep up with the world. You have to somehow stop your fantasy and being grounded by the reality, and you will be fine. You will be all right. And that's it for the first episode of One Book, One Movie. If you like, you could follow me, and if you love to suggest me some new movie or films, and maybe in the future I will talk about some more movie. If you love to suggest me, you could comment down below, and I'll just go on and watch it or read it. Or if you love to follow me, you could follow me on YouTube, where I will be making more content. And thank you for listening. Hope you will get something out of me, and see you next episode. Goodbye.